Nothing.
So hold on, I gotta remove this thing.
There
we go.
There we are.
There you go.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Monthly Night Live, the all-community event tonight. Wow. Okay.
Hey, we're coming to you from Amana, Iowa. We're getting ready for our homecoming rally. Today is Monday. It begins on Wednesday. We actually have a few people in the live audience
some friends here that are already
right
here.
now.
They're being really quiet though. They don't want us. They don't want to know that they're there. But we have a few people just off behind camera that are joining us live, and then we have all of you here, and we have been catching up on 50 state bingo, which I absolutely love when we do these all community events because you all are coming from all over the place. There are so many of you already on here tonight that are on your way here to Amana, Iowa, where we're hosting Homecoming, our second annual Homecoming. I see a bunch of you are...
Now we can say second annual. We got in trouble by a lot of people last year for saying first annual. Like, you can't say first annual. It's not allowed.
It's not an annual if it's the first. Peggy's over there like, maybe.
Grammar.
But I see we have tonight, we've got Arkansas and North Carolina, the birthplace of the Krispy Kreme donut. Wow, that's something to be real proud of, because when you see that light on at a Krispy Kreme.
Oh, it's got the fresh
and
donuts.
That means they're fresh. I have such a distinct memory of that when we were in, was it like Ocean Springs, Mississippi or something?
Yep.
And that minivan took a hard left and went right into the Krispy Kreme because even the kids were like, the light is on. So that's a good donut.
We've got some beers thanks to our friends Tony and Peggy.
We do.
From Millstream Brewery, one of our favorite breweries here in Amana, Iowa. If you don't know, Amana, Iowa is like this sort of...
Wow, I'm really bad at this.
Historic German settlement where I guess the real big thing is like all the families that settled here, they had communal kitchens. So instead of having a kitchen in your home, there's like these communal kitchen buildings where they all sort of ate together. And that's kind of the thing here. But there's a lot of like wineries, breweries, butcher shops, like crafts and antiquing and stuff like that here. So it's a really fun place to visit, pretty close to I-80, near Iowa City-ish in Iowa, if you ever get a chance to head over this way. I know we're gonna have some questions from some mile markers or other folks who are gonna be here at Homecoming this week about Homecoming. This live stream isn't really about that. We're happy to answer those questions, of course, but this is to answer any questions you have about RVing, about us, about life, fantasy football, whatever you want to talk about tonight.
Tony,
we can talk about.
Michael has requested, and he says he told you to not drink all the beer before he gets here.
Notice that
so
I was able to share some with y'all.
Oktoberfest just concluded
warned.
here in Amana, so they probably were close to out of beer, but.
And they said they sold out of a number of beers.
Oh, really?
Tony says they sold out of a number of beers at Millstream. Oktoberfest here is huge.
Yeah, Oktoberfest in this area is such a big deal. It's generally always the first weekend in October that they will put, at this campground that we're at, they will put the campsites for next year. Oktoberfest happens October 3rd and 4th of 2025. the campground will open up reservations for this tomorrow.
I'm pretty sure this
So-
campground pretty much entirely exists for Oktoberfest.
Yeah.
It's
It was literally built for Oktoberfest, followed by the real party, homecoming.
It's
I've-
like 300-400 sites. It's like it's huge, and it's normally not full, but they are full for Oktoberfest for sure.
Yeah, it's very interesting to follow up Oktoberfest with this event, because this campground we heard last weekend that this campground was packed.
So I have to
and
say,
now it is beautifully quiet.
I'm just noticing
So-
that this computer is at an 8% battery, so you're gonna have to talk for a second. And I'm
Oh,
gonna plug
no,
this in.
I don't like what I'm left
Well, you
alone.
have been talking. I'm just right here. I'm like just on this side.
It's like I get left alone
I
in
just
front of a
meant to
camera,
do
and now I
this.
think I have to start singing and dancing and preparing a monologue for all of you,
I
and that
just meant
just really
to do
stresses
this a
me
little
out.
bit ago.
So we made it into Amana today. So you might see up on here it's saying, if you've got a question for us, go ahead and drop it in here now. We will be really happy to answer it. We made it into Amana today, and
Okay.
as typical for us, I was telling our friends, I said I went to bed last night and I was like, chef's kiss. We've got this all, everything is done, everything is great. I'm gonna get up nice and early, gonna go to my chiropractic appointment. We're gonna get on the road. We're gonna get there by like noonish. It's gonna be wonderful. We rolled up at 4:50 today, 10 minutes before they closed the office. And nothing that we had, all these things that we thought we had taken care of, we were not checked off on our list. And it was a bit of a, well, it was a typical RV Miles trying to get on the road day. So I do see we have a couple of questions coming in. So James is asking, Jason, is your brother in East Tennessee?
Not my brother.
No.
My mother and my stepfather had a home in East Tennessee. Now my stepfather's business is still there, but they actually travel around in a motorhome now. So I need to check in with them because they were in Florida and now I don't know what they're doing. They actually have a place in our hometown now, but they're sort of in the area that really wasn't hit hard in Tennessee. So hopefully everything is good there. But I need to check in with them about Florida because obviously now we've got Milton going to Florida, which is a whole nother thing. I just responded to a comment on the news video that just went out because a news video went out a couple hours ago. Watch it after you watch this one if you haven't watched it yet. But I talked a lot about North Carolina and Tennessee and issues there. Unfortunately, I had recorded that video on Friday morning or something like that before Milton really the trajectory was fully known, and so I didn't get to talk about that too much, but I assume we will be talking about it next week.
Well, that's probably a good lead into one of the things that we're doing here for the live tonight that we do have
Yes.
set up. Yes, so why don't you
So
go ahead and...
if you're watching on, well, you have to be watching on YouTube.
You have to be, actually.
So on YouTube, you might see below the stream, there should be I actually should look at it and see what it looks like, but there should be a little donate banner. This video we've set up as as a benefit for AmeriCares. So this is an organization that it's like right up there with the American Red Cross. It's a top rated GuideStar charity, and every $10 that you give them, they're able to turn into $200 worth of support. And essentially, what their primary focus is getting medicines to people. So whenever there's a disaster, their main goal is getting medicines to people who need medicines, whether that's their regular medication that they don't have access to, or emergency medication like antibiotics and stuff. And then they work to coordinate and deliver supplies as well. So I think it's a great organization. If you consider giving, the money doesn't go to us at all. It goes YouTube. This is like directly through YouTube. So, and YouTube doesn't take a cut. So when you make a donation through there, YouTube takes the money and gives it directly to AmeriCare. So check them out, please, if you would.
It's one of the few times YouTube doesn't take a cut. So there you go.
Very true.
Someone asked if this was root beer. And I think that's cute. This is.
I love a good root beer.
It will. I don't like root beer. I don't like root beer. It's much like whiskey and bourbon. I've tried. I've given up. I just don't like it. This is actually from Millstream. This is their Oktoberfest. So I was very happy to get my hands on this evening. Thank you, Tony and Peggy.
This is the barrel-aged Oktoberfest.
Yes, so that one tastes like you take a shot of whiskey and then it tastes like you have beer on the back end, is how I would categorize it.
I love this because I like an Oktoberfest. I'm a lager guy in general. I like lagers. I'm not a big fan of much anything else, really.
David, we're really happy to hear that your home is doing okay. David was saying that he has a house that's built for the 100-year flood, and he relocated his motorhome and Jeep up to the ridge. We're really glad to hear that your property and everyone, and that you yourself have stayed safe. And I know that there's so many people that are getting ready again. I mean, here we go.
I put a couple of these in last week's news video and this week's, but people have been sending me photos of campgrounds that are just, they don't exist anymore. I don't know how to say that. Say it otherwise. I mean, they're covered in 10 feet of mud and dirt. It's just gone.
It's absolutely wild. We have a question here, and it is, we are interested in outdoor RV brand. Have you seen these? Do you know anything about the, okay, then take it away, Mr. Epperson. I'm just gonna sit back here and drink my beer. I don't know anything about them.
No, outdoors RV.
We have our own strengths, okay? Mine is listening to you talk about RVs while I drink a beer. That's my strength.
No, they make a great product. Outdoors RV up in Oregon, so it's a West Coast product. They really make fantastic stuff. If you don't know, the RV industry is kind of, most of it is in Elkhart, Indiana. Then some of it is in some other places like Alabama and such around the middle of the country. But shipping RVs to the West Coast is expensive, right? So if you're somebody that buys an RV that was manufactured in Indiana, you buy it in California, well, you're paying for that, whoever drove it from Indiana to California. So some of the big Elkhart manufacturers have plants in the West, essentially in Oregon and Washington, like Jayco. And then there are some manufacturers, there's a couple like Outdoors RV, Northwoods, that are they're mainly based there. So if you ever travel out west, you'll start to see some of these RVs, and there's also a lot of little boutique brands that make small stuff too, like a lot of the small off-road trailers and camper vans and stuff. You'll start to see RVs that you didn't see at all in the East, and that's why. But our Outdoors RV, they make really good products. Yeah.
Okay, well there you go. And as he was talking, I was like, oh yeah, I did see some of these when we were in Seattle.
You did.
And they're very cute. If that's important to you. If a cute RV is important to you, then there
Tony's
you
got
go.
his thumbs up. The Seattle RV show was wild for us because there was so much different than going to any of the RV shows that we're used to going to. Now we've been twice, but even the big Elkhart manufacturers, their stuff might differ a little bit in the West. So if you've ever gone to Jayco's website, I don't know if it's still this way, but it used to be you click on it and you see do you want to look at the East rigs or do you want to look at the West rigs? And there's some slight variations between them. And from my understanding, a lot of that has to do with the fact that they might not be able to get like the exact tank sizes or something that they would in Elkhart out there. So they might be working with different suppliers for different components. They might use a different furnace out there or whatever it is. There are lots of different things that it could be, a different size skylight, whatever. That could be a little bit different out there. So that's why there's slight differences in floor plans between east and west for those manufacturers that have plants in the east and the west.
And we just had someone jump in the comments and say that they love their 2021. So it's great to hear. We also have this question is, will you be at the Florida RV show? We
Yes.
will. We were just talking about that last night.
We were just about to book our flights.
We were just about to book our flights last night and figure out everything that we're doing because we are going to be there. It looks like we will be there for Wednesday and Thursday. No, Wednesday and a half day Thursday. It's going to be a short amount of time we're there this year.
The show opens on Wednesday, but we'll be there Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. But but the show's open to the public beginning Wednesday and Thursday. It's going to be a little weird this year because apparently there's not going to be any camping on site. I think if it continues that way, I wouldn't be surprised if that show moves.
Yeah, so if anyone is listening or anyone is watching or here and you're wanting to attend in January and you want to go to the Florida RV Super Show, which happens in Tampa, they have, it used to be that you could dry camp, boondock, or they had some electrical sites that you could pay for and stay on the fairgrounds and have access to the show the whole time that you were there. It was so easy. You didn't have to deal with traffic. You could come back to your rig and eat. It was fantastic.
That's the best part is you save a whole lot of money not eating fair food.
It's so expensive to eat really bad chicken fingers. So you just don't eat them. So they have done away with that because
it's a dispute between the show and the fairgrounds.
Yes.
And
the fairgrounds are winning the dispute.
Well, to their
fairgrounds
credit, there was a lot of rain before the show last year, and everything was just a mud pit.
Yeah.
And I think some rigs got stuck and stuff like that. So
a lot of damage probably to the property itself from all of the rigs that were out there on the grass out there, and so I think that as of right now, there's no RV camping there, and we're starting to see a lot of comments start to ramp up in groups like, hey, where are you staying? Are you going? And what's a campground that you can recommend?
And this is a show more than any other where people buy their second or third rig. Like this is where people.
This is where you go for that rig that you should have bought the first.
People spend a lot of money at this show because it's in Florida in the winter where a lot of people go in the winter, of course. And if you can camp on site, then you can go shop for other RVs and this is just a place where they sell a lot of high-end rigs often. You'll see more motorhomes at this show than any other. And I think this is really going to hit them in the pocketbooks, but by not having people being able to camp on site. So it'll be really interesting to see how that works out this year.
Yeah, we were at the show in 2021 and we stayed on site. We had an electric site while we were there and that was fantastic. It was great. We had our kids with us at that time. It was really awesome to be able to go in, but also be able to come back to the rig, not be out there the whole time.
Not everybody having to go.
Right, we could leave people at home if they wanted to stay at home. Last year when we went, was the first time we had attended where we stayed in a hotel while we were there because we didn't want to haul the rig all the way up from, winter in Illinois all the way down to Florida. And that was exhausting. It was exhausting to just be so far away from anywhere where we could go and just chill out for a little bit and then keep going back into the show. And so it's disappointing, I think, especially for those people who, like us, they ask us to come and they're like, will you cover all this stuff and will you do all this stuff? And, they really want you to be a part of it. And so it's days and days of being a part of it, but there's no, it's just not convenient. Our hotel was about 15, 20 minutes away. You just get there in the morning and you're just there all day long and then you go back to the hotel.
We should really book our hotel.
We should probably book our hotel and our flight.
I'm opening the second one.
But
just so everybody knows, I only had this much of this one.
No, he drank it all.
No.
Don't listen to him.
No.
Don't listen to him. If there's any
Tony drank it.
If there are any technical issues, it's because Jason drank a whole beer.
Oh, no.
We'll split this one?
You good?
The brewery before that.
Oh, okay.
He was at the brewery before this.
He was
Okay.
pre-gaming, like
Okay.
he's some pre-show drinking. I respect that. I respect that.
All right, let's grab
So
something
let's
else.
grab some more questions here. I saw one. I wanted to pull this one up from Melissa. Yes, so this is a really great book. She's referencing a book called City Spies that my kids and I have read together. It's a book where it's a like a juvenile youth book series, but I love it just as much as the kids do. So if you are looking for something for, your older kids that is still, accessible, where if you want to kind of have still something that you all read together, like they don't want to read this by themselves, or they didn't want to do the audiobooks by themselves when each new book came out. They wanted me to read it out loud to them because that's how much fun we have when we read these books together. So they're called City Spies. There's 4 of them out. I believe the author's name is James Ponti, Ponti, and they're just really, really great books for long car trips as well. So I'm so glad that your sons are enjoying that. We have a truck question.
On the Ford V8 Godzilla, how often did you change the oil? What type of oil did you use? Class C has the same engine. Yeah, this engine is in a lot of motor homes. We changed the oil every like 4,000 to 5,000. Like the Ford does the thing now where, I don't know if other brands do this, where it's like they don't have a set mileage recommendation. They have like the little counter thing that it has some algorithm that tells you when to change the oil based on like how much work the engine's done. And it was trying to recommend us every 7,000 or so, but we changed it definitely more often than that. And always full synthetic, not always the same, so we were always in different places. So, depending on whether we changed it at the dealership or if we changed it at like a Jiffy Lube or something like that.
Take 5 because we could stay in our car.
Take 5, you stay in
You
your
stay
car.
in your car because we could stay in our car.
But we always did full synthetic. So, I don't know how much of it has to do with the oil change intervals, with what happened with us. If you don't know, if you're watching this, you can watch the whole video on it. But our 7.3 liter gas engine in our Ford died on us, lifter delamination sort of thing, which seems like it's. There's people that are saying they've solved this problem. There's people that are saying they haven't. There was just a TSB.
We solved it. We got rid of it.
There's
So
just
that's how we solved it. I mean, it's like, I don't know what else to say. I mean, we've gotten a lot of flack for the fact that we didn't try to fix it ourselves and trade it in. I mean, I think this video that Jason made recently about the 2 trucks is well up over.
I mean, we could have fixed it. It just would have cost us the same.
No, we could have fixed it if we weren't in Savannah.
Yeah, we weren't.
If I wasn't 1,000 miles from my other car and like sitting in a 25-foot RV with 3 kids in the middle of vacation, yes, I probably would have fixed it. And at the same time, probably not, because life is really busy and I don't have the bandwidth for it. So yes, we let it go, and we were very upfront with the dealership. They knew everything that was wrong with it. There's no way they couldn't know. I mean, you got in it and it was just knocking like crazy.
Yeah.
We were very upfront with that.
Yeah, a lot of people were like on that video. I guess I wasn't clear enough because a lot of people were like, "Oh, way to go, leaving it for someone else," or
That
like
been
that poor
awful.
dealership, like that's fraud. I'm like, no, this was clearly having an issue. I still don't know why they gave us so much on the trade-in. I really don't.
Let's not ask questions.
I'm
Jason.
not asking questions because they gave us
Don't ask a question.
a lot.
So I just wanted to grab this question here from Matt because he had another comment. He's getting ready to head down to the Ozarks to spend some time with family.
I haven't been to the Ozarks since I was like 14. We went on a big family trip.
What are you talking about? We were in Buffalo River.
I don't call that the Ozarks. I'm talking
We've
about
been to
okay.
Branson.
I'm talking about
What
Lake
do you-
of the Ozarks, not the Ozark Mountains.
Okay.
So I guess those
okay.
are 2 different things. So I'm thinking of the Lake of the Ozarks.
Sure. As a
and-
Missourian,
yes.
fine, I'll accept that answer.
Yes. Okay.
But the whole point of why I grabbed this was that he is talking a little bit about how that area could be interesting and different for an event sometime.
We love it. Some of our earliest travels were Arkansas.
Oh my gosh, I love it there.
We fell in love with a lot of Arkansas, and actually, it's been a long time since we've been back there. We should get back.
We would love to. And actually, to kind of the reason why I brought that up is that one thing that we're talking about for 2025 is trying to have some more mini meetups. We know that it can be really hard this time of year for people to get here to Amana, Iowa.
There's several questions about this. Like, is there going to be one in the West? Is there going to be one in the South?
So for those who have not watched, who are not mile marker members or who have not had a chance to catch a recent podcast episode, one of the things that we want to do for 2025 is we want to have little mini meetups. And so we're working with our friends over at CRR Hospitality. They're the ones that have Verde Ranch, the Savannah Lakes, which is where we were this summer when we had an issue with the truck. They also have property in Texas, Arizona, and they have property in California. So we're working with them to put together some little mini meetups. And right now it looks like what we're going to be doing is having one in the spring of 2025 and then doing one again later in the year with them. And we're going to try to do one on the West Coast, and then we're going to try to do one in the Southeast, most likely either in Texas or Savannah. So
be right back.
Oh my God, you guys, he keeps leaving me. Oh my gosh. Okay. No, and then the door is locked. So yeah, because then the bathroom doors are locked. So that's the plan for those, but we're also looking to do one in June of 2025, probably
I didn't
early.
Moon everybody, my pants were
You may
riding down a little bit there.
It wouldn't be a day ending in Y if you didn't. So it might be. We will be doing a little mini meetup as well in June, early June in Montrose, Colorado. We hope to have some more information about that too. And when we say little mini meetups, we just mean 3 nights. We're really thinking that we're not going to do anything other than
just hang out, have campfire, chat, whatever.
You just pay for the campsite. We're really probably not even going to have any kind of extra ticket fee that goes with it. I would love to organize when we're in Colorado. We head over to, help me out, what's the national park? Why am I drawing a blank? Gunnison, thank you. We would head over there and Black Canyon of the Gunnison, and maybe do a little hike. But other than that, it's really just an opportunity for us to hit different points throughout the country and a chance to connect with people, because what we're going to do this weekend here in Amana is truly our favorite thing that we do all year long. We love everything that we do, but this is just we have been so excited about this for weeks.
We hauled a lot of stuff here, I'll tell you that.
We did. And there will be this mood lighting, but we are sitting in the space where this happens, where by Wednesday when everyone arrives, this will be completely transformed with tables and decorations, and we will have it all set up for a huge event.
We like to say that it's a good low-class Midwestern wedding. That's what it is.
We got catering by Hy-Vee, so we fancy over here like that. Actually, their catering's really good, and they're going to deliver it, which is even better. But it is just so great because it gives us an opportunity to meet so many people that often we only get the pleasure of talking to through this platform that we're all on right now, or some of the other social media platforms that we use. So we would really like to try and recreate that going forward for RV Miles in 2025 and beyond, where we can start having smaller things and making connections with people that it's a little bit harder for them to get here to Amana, Iowa. Although I must say, this is a really fun event. You should totally come next year if you're watching this. So do I need another one? Yes, please. Wow, it's it's like being at a bar and they just come by and they're like, can I get you another one? And you're like, yeah, totally. Put it on my tab. Like, it's amazing.
Are we good on all this stuff
Yes,
up here?
yeah,
Okay.
you've gone too far.
I just want to make sure we didn't
gone
miss,
too far.
miss anything.
Were we supposed to do something at a Cubs game?
We talked about doing it.
We did?
Yeah.
When?
Probably before baseball season.
I would like, where's that
So
called?
now it's before baseball season again.
Well, thank you so much, friend. I appreciate you. The Cubs didn't make it. Well, it is still technically baseball season for some people.
Well, for some people.
Not for us. Mr. Roboto, the only thing they know about Ozarks is from Netflix. That's not a good. I didn't watch that
Boy,
show.
that show.
You watched that show. I didn't watch that show.
I watched
That's
I
too
think
much.
the first 3 seasons, and I think I stopped watching it because I didn't want to have a heart attack. Oh my God! Like, and you just had to watch the next episode. It's like it's one of those
No,
shows that
I don't think you need
and
to.
I have a limit to that. Like, there's so many seasons for me. If it's like one of those shows that it leaves you on a big cliffhanger, you need to know what happens next. I like shows, and I like shows like that, but I wish there were more shows like, like House, like Law and Order, like where there's like the plot happens within that episode. There's a through line between episodes throughout the season, but it's not like you have to watch the next one. The story ends at the end of that episode.
My friend, have you never sat down to a Law and Order SVU marathon on USA and then found yourself 10 hours later still sitting on the couch watching said marathon?
That's true, but I can't.
Like, those shows
I can't
are.
stop. The thing about that is, though, at nighttime, I can stop if it's like 11 o'clock. If I'm watching something like Ozark, I'm like, oh, it's like 3 in the morning. I'm like, I gotta watch another one.
Where am I when this was all happening?
This is on Baja to Alaska. Oh my gosh, I watched so many shows.
I was just like, that's a 25-foot RV. How did that happen? Okay, that's fair. I just go to sleep. So we actually, this time of year, since we're talking about shows, so this time of year becomes kind of like comfort rewatch season a little bit for us. So I don't know what it is about like end of September kicking right into October, but I can pretty much guarantee I will be starting the Great British Bake Off from season 1, only to be found on Roku, like right on October 1st. And that is pretty much all I'm watching right now. Like, there must be something about this time of year that just makes me want to watch that and then makes me want to go bake all the things, to the point where, like, part of the reason why I didn't get out the door today at the time I needed to was because I bought a KitchenAid mixer last night on a whim.
You got a heck of a deal.
I got a heck of a deal. I saved over $200 on this thing off of Target.
There's this weirdest thing. Okay, I bought Abby for like Christmas or something, a KitchenAid, a nice KitchenAid stand mixer like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And somehow when we went full time, the bowl and the paddles and all that sort of stuff disappeared. And
the stand is still literally, the stand is just sitting on our counter. And it's been sitting there for a year.
The
no
weird
bowl.
thing is, we found them like a year ago.
We think, unless we think we made this up.
I know we did.
It's possible we imagined it.
And
shared a dream or something.
We can't find them again.
No, we can't find them.
So finally we were like, okay, we're just buying the new bowl and the new paddles and stuff like that.
Well,
that was going to cost like $150 just to get that stuff.
Don't ever lose anything for your KitchenAid mixer.
And
ever.
We couldn't guarantee
that
the bowl, like their lookup tool to find the bowl for the mixer we had, like they didn't even have the model listed. So you ended up getting this for like $240.
Yeah.
I remember paying like $400 for the because I don't look for deals.
Not a sponsored post, but Target is having Target Circle Week deal days. I don't know what it's called, but anyway, like Amazon Prime Days, they just have things on sale for some reason because it's October, and I guess we want to buy stuff before we buy stuff for the holidays.
It's the pre-Christmas stuff. You gotta buy the stuff to make Christmas.
Yes. So
and Thanksgiving.
I happened to see I got fed a reel when I was on social media. Target found me and they dropped an ad and it said something about KitchenAid mixers, and I thought, I should go let me just go look. I'm just gonna be like KitchenAid curious. I'm just gonna go look. And I saw this one that I had my eye on that was regularly priced $449, which I thought there's no way I'm going to pay that much money, was on sale for $244, and it was in this beautiful baby blue that I love, that I've been wanting.
Look at it, right as you said that.
That's what I'm talking
what color?
about.
We have a baby blue one
And love it. So we now have the same KitchenAid mixer. And I saw it and I said to him, oh my gosh, like, because he has to talk me, like things that I want to buy that he knows I want to buy, he has to talk me into buying them, because I won't just buy them without, like, it's like I can't just say I'm buying this.
Sometimes I'll be
it's
like,
weird.
Sure, yeah, and I'll be pulling out my phone and like ordering it on Amazon while she's like going back and forth on whether or not we should.
And
get
like,
it. I'm like,
they're ringing the door and dropping it off while I'm still like, I don't know, maybe we shouldn't. Like, here's 20 reasons why we shouldn't. Here's 20 reasons why we should. So it was on sale for $200. Then I got 5% off more from having a Target Red card. And then I had a bunch of gift cards that I had stashed for a rainy day. And I was like, it feels very rainy right now. So even though, so I bought this and I did it for, not thinking that today is Monday, I did it for pickup last night. And it was out in Davenport, which is about a 25-minute drive from the house. So I did it for pickup. And then all of a sudden today I was like, oh no, I have to go all the way out to Davenport and get this mixer. I can't leave it because
today,
they'll return it.
Today is the day we've arrived at this campground, right? And you know, as part-time RVers now, we have to get the rig ready. We've got to pack clothes and we've got to fill it with food and all that sort of stuff every time we travel. And this day was such a mess of like so many things. Like first, the kids had classes today. They have online classes. I'm like, I went to get the rig and pulled it up into our apartment complex, and I get there and I park it, and you know we put some stuff in it, and then I park it, and she comes pulling up by me in the car, and she's like, I gotta go. I have to go get Ethan supplies from Dollar Tree for his art class.
Yeah.
And
40 minutes before the class is supposed to start. It wasn't his art class. He had an anatomy class.
And
they were going to replicate a heart. And so I didn't have the supplies, and he dropped it in my lap 40 minutes before class was supposed to start. And he said, Mom, can you get me these supplies?
It was literally that stereotypical, like,
and
Mom, I have a project due tomorrow
Yeah.
thing. And then, you know, I had this video to edit today. We had there was just so many things got thrown at us today, but we did get here. We made it.
Yeah, we made it. Everything's fine. It's all going to be fine. David would like to know if we have what is the best espresso machine with milk frother for a motorhome. So I don't have any advice I can give on this in particular.
But maybe somebody does.
But maybe somebody else in the comments can jump in for you, because we have, we just use a French press. We use a Brew Trek French press, and I grind my coffee up the night before, and then I drop it. And then I have just like a little, I didn't bring it this time, but it's just a little tiny whisk, battery-operated whisk that I'll sometimes just use to froth up.
If you're feeling fancy.
When I'm feeling fancy. And when I'm camping, I don't feel fancy. Where did you want me to go?
The one that I had the cursor over
I'm
that
sorry.
I was like, let's do that one.
Sorry. Sorry.
Any
Not
news
sorry.
on videotaping in national parks? No. So that bill that passed the House, it was like March, April, something like that, that contained a lot of revenue neutral changes for national parks. It would sort of help some outdoor recreation things. Also included changes to the way, you know, the rules against commercial filming in national parks, basically set them the same as photography. I did a whole video on this. But basically, if you're doing anything like a tourist is doing, you don't need a permit. But if you're making money commercially, otherwise you're gonna have models and props and sets, or you're gonna close off an area or whatever, you need a permit for that. So that passed the House. That bill went to the Senate, and it has sat in the Senate, and they have not even sent it to a committee, anything like that.
Yeah.
This was a big act. It's called the Explore Act. It actually tied together 15 different public lands related bills. So my only real hope right now is that after the election, that perhaps this is something that it had a lot of bipartisan support in the House, that perhaps this will be something that that will get passed in a lame duck session. I could see that certainly happening. If not, then it's probably not going to get taken up at all, and somebody's going to have to reintroduce something next year.
So we have a question here from Doug. He would like to know if we are in the Sabre or if we are in Bexley.
We can't tow the Sabre.
Can't tow the
We
Sabre
don't
anymore.
we don't have a fifth wheel hitch set up in our truck. We need to get a goose ball installed or a fifth wheel. I think we're going to do the same thing again. Get a goose ball installed. That worked out pretty well for us.
Yeah.
And but we haven't done that yet in the new truck. Plus, it's a little heavy for the new truck.
If we could have it here, we would have it here.
I mean, I would have
For
towed it
sure.
here. It's not that far
But
from
I said
home.
no.
But
I don't like to play around with that stuff.
we would have had to gone, but it would have been empty. Empty, it would have been fine.
Empty, that would have been
Yeah.
fine, but we would have had to go and do we would have had to install a hitch for it, which we just haven't had the time for.
I need a whole week. I need to block off a week where I can go do some stuff on it, deal with some paperwork snafus that exist on it, and so that we can sell it.
So I have a
The goal is
week.
to sell it, and then we're looking to find a mid-size fifth wheel is our next.
I can give you a week in 2030. How does that work for you?
Okay, sounds good.
I'll block it off now. Should be fine. We'll just go ahead.
I'm sure that will be. I'm sure it'll be worth a lot of money by then.
I'll see your week and I'll raise you 3 hours. How about that?
Okay.
Can you do it in 3 hours?
No.
Because that's about all the time we have for. So lots of really great comments coming up here about like
I can't read them
getting-
because I just looked into a light and
Thankfully, the computer is far enough away that I can read them. So one of the awesome things that I need glasses. So I just really learned that about a week ago.
I mean, I've only had prescription glasses for like
I just need readers.
4 months or 5 months or
Yeah,
something.
it's like, listen, if you don't think your phones are listening to you, they're listening, because I was like talking to him about needing glasses, and now all I get are advertisements for like progressive readers. Like Ava Mendez really wants me to buy her glasses. Like she's coming at me hard. So I have to go and have that. Done. There was this comment here and question. So I never learned how to tow reverse an RV. How long did it take you? Any advice? We will be full timers.
Okay, so I guess I was lucky. I learned when I was like 14, 15 years old.
I learned when I was 44.
On a fairly small trailer, and actually smaller trailers kind of a little bit harder. Smaller single axle trailers, if they're like shorter than your truck, that can be a little bit harder to back in actually than something that's kind of bigger. But okay, so number one tip: go slow. Don't worry about, don't think about, don't pay attention to other people that might be waiting to drive by, that are watching you, that are in the area. Don't worry about those people. Don't be embarrassed. Don't think about other people. Go slow. Watch what you're doing.
Yeah.
Second tip is use the bottom of the steering wheel. You use the bottom of the steering wheel and you go right, then the trailer's going to go right. If you go left, the trailer's going to go left. It's going to be a little bit different whether you're towing a fifth wheel or a travel trailer. A fifth wheel is more forgiving but doesn't turn as abruptly. You'll crank that wheel all the way over and back up, and that fifth wheel will keep going straight until it goes whoop.
Then it doesn't.
But they're slightly different things. But going just like you might have done when you learned to drive, go on a Sunday to a big like high school parking lot with your trailer and practice it, or rent a U-Haul for a day and practice backing it up in a big empty parking lot. Set up some cones for yourself. Use your mirrors. Learn to use your mirrors, and learn to have. If you're a couple, you've got somebody else watching stuff you're going to start to learn hand signals. You're going to start to learn where that person can stand so that you can see them. There's lots of laughing going on behind us right now.
That was the exact hand signal I was just thinking about, Peggy.
You're gonna
Especially
learn.
if you're the one standing in the campsite.
You're gonna learn who to
helping the
ignore,
person
who
back
to
up.
not. And again, just take it slow. Take your time, and don't be afraid to do it over again and again. But don't set yourself up in situations, especially when you're starting out, where it's going to be stressful. Don't be arriving at campgrounds at 7 o'clock at night where it's dark. Don't, be setting yourself up so that you have the time to deal with it when even when stuff goes wrong on your travel day, right? If you have a 4-hour travel day, have a 3-hour travel day.
Yeah, give yourself lots and lots of time. And I just dropped this in the comments because I know this is a lot of information to remember, but episode 334 of the RV Miles podcast, it came out a few weeks ago. We actually answered this question as well and had a little bit of a discussion on it. So there's all that information that Jason just shared, and then some is in that episode. And
This is not a good hand signal. I'll tell you that right now. Which way am I telling you to go?
I feel attacked
Who
right
knows?
now.
Who knows?
Are you talking about me? You know what's also, never mind. We'll we'll talk about it later. But I dropped that in there, and if you want to go back and watch that, you can. Let's see, we've got a lot of people chiming in here right now with some football updates, with
What's
some
going on?
baseball
Because here's the thing:
updates.
a fantasy. I need Olave to be doing good, and I need.
Look, your season's over. Stop talking.
No, I'm doing okay. I need Olave to be doing good, and I need Mahomes to be doing bad.
Okay.
Therefore, I can beat Jenny. Ooh, it's close. 102
So
to
close.
106.
So close.
Mahomes isn't doing that great. Olave's not doing anything though.
So this random stranger on the internet who goes by Bulldog Steve, not somebody I know, don't know this person at all, have
Grant
no idea
Chapin
who
Patch.
this is, says that they are starting the process of looking into an RV. What must-haves would you recommend? Oh boy.
It's very different. It's very different for different people. Like
Yeah.
you have to figure out the type of travel that you want to do.
Yeah.
You have to figure out, are you the type of person that's going to want to go to some place and sit for 2 weeks, spend a couple hours setting up and get everything, have a really awesome campsite and all that sort of stuff, putting all your slides out and all that, or are you somebody that's going to want to be like, go, 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 like 2 days here, 2 days there, move, and
Minimal setup, minimal,
Yeah.
I don't want a lot of slides. I don't want to have a lot of things I have to pack up. Really, it's about, I think, identifying, like Jason said, the kind of RVing you're interested in right now. So again, do you think that in the beginning, you and your significant other will most likely just end up in campgrounds where you have full hookups? That means you're going to be having access to all the power that you might need. You're going to have access to sewer. You're going to have access to water. The rig is going to have all those things. You're not going to really need to worry about something like, what is the size of my black tank, or what is the size of my fresh tank or my gray tank. If you think you guys are going to want to go off into the wilds of, say, Alaska, and you want to do a lot of camping up there, which is going to require some no hookup camping, especially on the way to get up there, then something like your tank size you might want to pay a little bit more attention to. How much fresh water can we carry? How much black water or black tank, which is going to be the waste tank for the bathroom, like how much is that? How big is that gal? Things like that are really important to kind of talk about, like, what are you going to use this for?
For us, because
besides coming to see me.
Since we're in the process of looking for something new for us, these are the things that I think we've settled on after after the many different rigs we've had, is that we want something that's not too huge. We don't mind big-ish, but we don't want something that's too huge. I think we're trying to set a 35-foot limit for a trailer for us. We want to have access to at least the kitchen and the bathroom on a travel day. so that when you stop at a rest stop or something, you can make lunch, you can use your own bathroom. Even better, you had access to the bathroom or the bedrooms and could sleep without because sometimes the slides cut off access to certain things. Sometimes they entirely cut off access to everything. But for us, we at least want a bathroom available and most of the kitchen, at least like a fridge and pantry, if not, the microwave and stove and sink. So we want to have that sort of stuff available to us. We're big fans of towing, although I think when Abby and I are on our own in the future without the kids, that we might consider a motorhome, a small one. But we're big fans of towing because we like having, we feel like if you're in a decent sized motorhome, you're going to be towing a car behind you anyway.
Yeah, and I think, for us now, so we're on RV number 4, and someone mentioned this, your first RV is not your last RV. So we're on RV number 4.
But you'd like it at least to be more like your second RV than your...
You would like it, yeah. I mean, you would like it to maybe stick around for a while, yeah. Right? But as we're looking now to RV number 5, and we're looking at like what isn't working with us, having now had motorized, big giant fifth wheel, 43-foot fifth wheel, to a 25-foot travel trailer, and now we're looking for sort of like that in between. There were a lot of things from all of those that we have taken with us, but for us, and for the kind of RVing that we like to do, which is really heavily based in the national parks, and oftentimes those are campgrounds where you're just going to have water and electric, sometimes just electric, sometimes nothing at all. Army Corps of Engineer campgrounds we're big fans of, state parks. When we want that kind of access, more outdoor access, some of our priorities have shifted a little bit, and a lot of that has to do with how long can we go off grid in this rig? That's a really personal thing. Like,
and that a lot of this stuff is stuff that people never pay any attention to. Especially first-time buyers, they're not looking at tank sizes. They're not looking at what it looks like with the slides closed and all that sort of stuff. They're just looking at, oh, this is a cool floor plan. So don't be a floor plan shopper. You're better off having a better built rig than having the perfect floor plan for you. And don't be like a gimmick shopper. Like, don't be fooled by things like, oh, it's got, Wi-Fi prep or, solar prep and stuff like that. Most of that's...
Oh, look at these outdoor speakers.
Most of that's really meaningless, cheap equipment that you're gonna wanna solve with better stuff anyway.
Yeah.
So ignore all of that kind of stuff.
A plastic toilet versus a porcelain toilet. Those are
Porcelain toilets.
Porcelain toilets.
The way to go.
Don't tell everybody that you're using the bathroom. The plastic toilet will for sure make sure that everyone knows what's up. So those are some things to consider.
Cargo carrying capacity is a really big one. You'll see there's lots of RVs out there, particularly trailers, that have lots and lots and lots and lots of storage space, but a very small cargo carrying capacity. So you could have tons and tons of storage bins and bays and cabinets and stuff, but can only haul 1,200 pounds or less or whatever, depending on the size.
Yeah,
so
all your baseball cards have to stay home.
Look for good cargo capacity, which also usually means that it's got strong enough axles to deal with the weight. That's really where cargo capacity comes from, is the axles and wheels and tires and the running gear essentially.
Yeah, and I'll say one more thing and then we'll move on from this too, just to add, is that if you can, go to RV shows and just go look at them, go walk through them, think about what you're seeing in there, try to imagine yourself in that one.
Try to go with somebody who's RV'd before.
There's a really great one happening in Florida. I think I've talked to you about this. There's a couple people I know going who might walk you through some of these RVs.
It can be really overwhelming though.
It can be,
the
but
shows
if you
can be really overwhelming.
They can, but if you have kind of an idea of what you want, or at least what I want to look at everything under 30 feet or whatever, it can be really nice to go to those and dream a little bit and just kind of get, your feet wet.
The problem is it's not like, oh, I'm looking for toy haulers, so I'm going to go to the toy hauler section.
There's no toy hauler section.
No, you're going here. You're
Unlike
going here,
the
you're going
toy
here, you're going here,
section,
you're going to the
there's
different
no-
brands,
Yes.
basically.
So Basecamp Girl said she just returned from Sedona, and I remember this is one of your favorite destinations for national forest camping. What is your campground of choice, north or south of the city? We have actually never really done national forest camping around Sedona, unless, or did we? No.
No, the only place we've stayed there is Verde Ranch RV Resort, which is a very nice RV resort, but
we love.
it's not national forest
Now,
camping.
it might be though that you're thinking about Zion, and we have done some camping around Zion. We've done some camping around national forest camping around Custer State Park.
Vegas.
And around Vegas.
Well, we've done a lot of national forest camping, but that's just not a place where it's a place where we know there, it
Anybody
exists
else?
and BLM land, but we have not done much of that. But if you're looking for you're gonna go do some boondocking or something, and then want a really nice RV resort to dump your tanks and throw your trash out and stuff, Verde Ranch is really
Verde
great.
Ranch is great.
There's also a good state park there nearby.
I know it's not quite in Sedona, but I think Flagstaff also has
Yeah.
some good boondocking up in Flagstaff that you could check out. I think that's
there's-
about an
there's-
hour.
There's tons of it up
Hour and
there.
a half.
But also, if I know you just came back, if you didn't go, or next time you go to that area, make sure you go to Jerome, Arizona. It's
Oh
this
yeah, totally.
really cool little artsy mountain town that we really love.
Absolutely love it up there. So our friend Airstreamer says, we will be in the Pacific Northwest next June. Can you recommend any must-see locations?
Well, our Pacific Northwest experience is pretty much entirely coastal.
It's all coastal, but we can for sure recommend a couple of places,
Yeah.
campgrounds especially, that we loved. And one of them was near Olympic National Forest, near the Hoh Rainforest area. And it was dry camping, and it's called Allen's Bar.
Yeah, it's like a put $5
like-
in a pay box type,
Yeah, so
private land type thing. Really fantastic.
It's phenomenal. I would recommend to going back, because we did, we've probably got 3 or 4, maybe 5 episodes from, it would have been April, May of last year, that we did on the RV Miles podcast that was about all the places that we went in the Pacific Northwest, and we detailed the campgrounds that we stayed at. We gave details on what we did, what we would recommend, what maybe didn't hit for us.
But definitely, go to the Hoh Rainforest and Solduck Hot Springs.
Yes.
Basically, Olympic National Park.
So, but
Go to Olympic National Park.
just a warning about Solduck, though.
You gotta
is
you gotta be small.
You do have to, it is one of those parks that does live up to the rumor of smaller rigs. It's
But you can camp somewhere else.
You can totally camp somewhere else. Our 25-foot ibex in the spot that we had booked that said it was supposed to
it
be
was
for
tight.
30-foot. Let me tell you, I don't know whose 30-foot was going into that spot, because our 25 barely got in there.
Yeah, the length of the spot is one thing. Turning into
It's
the
the
spot
turning
is another.
in.
But they're
Port Angeles is really great.
We
loved
Port
Port
Angeles.
Huge fan. Bainbridge Island, which is in the Seattle area, we really loved that city. I think it's a city park.
Yeah.
That was there. Absolutely loved that. I would say if you can cross into Canada, right up kind of like in the middle of Washington, if you can cross and go into Fort Langley.
We loved Fort Langley.
Fort Langley was so fantastic. If you can just cross in there and just get a few days at the park that's there in Fort Langley, that is so fantastic. But yeah, I would say head back to
Ruby
episode.
Beach, Cannon Beach.
Yeah.
Some really cool.
Upper 280s, maybe 290s in the episode count. I think somewhere maybe a little bit further back, 260s. That's where you should find all of our episodes on the Pacific Northwest. And those are on both YouTube at the RV Miles podcast YouTube channel, and then on any podcast app. But if you watch on YouTube, you'll get to see some of the visuals that we overlay of places that we stayed.
Looking to go full time, how important is it to stay under
And there we
35
go.
feet for a fifth wheel or availability within national parks and other municipal parks? It helps.
mean,
It's the
yeah,
35
it
feet.
helps.
That somebody made up this magical number that 35 feet is something that it is not. There is a continuum. Like the bigger you are, the harder it gets to get in sites. It's not. There's not a certain number. There's not an average. I mean, there's like some states that like they built all their state parks to be sites 35 feet or less, whatever. So is it essential? No. I mean, I think if you really do want to stay in national park campgrounds, of which there, to be honest, aren't that many. Like in the big national parks, there are a lot of them that don't even have campgrounds. The National Park Service is the biggest operator of campgrounds in the country, but a lot of those are in, like national recreation areas and stuff like that, which all are great places to go. So, we were 42 feet and went to a lot of National Park Service sites. We were 38 feet in the bus. We were 36 feet in the travel trailer.
More like 38 though, really, with that.
No, we were yeah, you're right. We were 38. Yeah.
I mean, so over we started RVing back in 2016. For those who don't know, we started in a converted school bus that Bussy was 40 feet, I believe.
38.
38,
Yeah.
and we gutted the whole thing ourselves and built out the RV that we wanted for our family. So we started off with that, then we moved to a 38-foot travel trailer. Then from there, we went to a 43-foot fifth wheel. I don't think it was 42. I'm pretty sure it was like 42.11.
Yeah,
it's
it's
basically
almost
43.
43. Yeah.
And then we went from a 43-foot fifth wheel to a real bucket of ice cold water on top of our heads, a 25-foot travel trailer, which is what we have now.
When we moved to 25 foot, the number of campgrounds that opened up to us, especially in the West, it was great. I mean, especially like California, a lot of California state parks and municipal parks have really small sites. A lot of mountain parks have really small sites. And then there are parks where like, okay, we've got this number of sites that are like 30 foot or less. We've got this number of sites that are, 35 foot or less. This number of sites can fit 40 feet. Sometimes it's just like, yeah, that campground has 4 or 5 sites that can fit a 40-foot plus rig, but they might be booked up and probably are, because the biggest sites get booked up the first, even if it's somebody that isn't booking, doesn't need the big site. So the smaller you are, the better. It's just that 35-foot number it's kind of a made up line that doesn't really mean anything.
I just want to make sure I see this. Rod, yes, please bring your e-bikes.
It's a great place to have them.
Great place. I wish we had ours. We don't though, but I do wish we
didn't
had
have
ours.
room
We
for
just
them
didn't
in
have
the truck.
space for them.
But from the campground, like to go into Middleman, it's great to have your e-bikes. It's a fantastic way to get around down here.
And I see, thank you to those of you that are answering questions in here. Peggy, thank you for jumping in here and answering all these questions. You're awesome, so that people don't get missed. We have hit the 9 o'clock hour. We know for our East Coast friends, that means that you have hit the 10 o'clock hour.
I like you think everybody just like goes to bed at 10.
Listen,
Like
did
done.
Cinderella teach us nothing? Okay, we all turn into pumpkins at a certain time.
Yeah,
okay?
we go to bed at 10, and then we watch YouTube for another 2 hours.
We do.
So
we
it's,
do.
I mean,
we get caught up. And don't think we get caught up on RV YouTube, because we don't. We get caught up on all the other silly things that we watch.
dumb
YouTube.
stuff.
We watch all those things, and then we watch Great British Baking Show, which I fall asleep to on a pretty regular basis. Although tonight we're back in the Ibex, which is a one-room, 25-foot. In fact, for anyone that's going to participate here at Homecoming, we do something called a rig crawl. It'll be the first year actually that we're doing it, and everyone will get a chance who wants to can sign up to share their rig and let people come see how they enjoy the RV lifestyle. And if they want as well, they can share a snack or a drink that's kind of from their hometown, something unique to the either a community that they are from, or if they're full-timers, a community that they have found that they really enjoyed.
Does that mean Dave and Sue are bringing up just a ton of
They,
Kansas
if
City
they
barbecue?
are not, if they are not bringing burnt ends, I will not sign for the RV that I rented for them. Like, I'm just saying, like, if I don't get some like Arthur Bryant's, we're gonna have trouble.
Arthur Bryant's.
I know, it's so,
So
good.
good.
It's so good. So anyway, we will be showing those. We'll get to see the 25-foot one room that we all share. And that TV, I tell you, that TV's so tiny in there.
The TV's
It's
tiny.
So,
we
it's
have
the weirdest place too.
Our
What a
TV
weird place.
in the IBEX is the size of a computer monitor. It's on a swing arm, kind of over the door, and either we can be looking at it in our bed, or we can swing it so the kids can see it. Not both.
No, we can't all watch at the same time, which I know a lot of people be like, well, that's not what RVing's about. But
And we've got
at 10 o'clock at night, that's what RVing's
it's
about.
a queen
okay?
bed,
Like,
so either the kids are piling up
on.
with us in the queen
Yeah.
bed to watch
Yeah.
something.
So for those friends who are transporting some New Mexico beer here, is it coming from Santa Fe Brewing Company?
What?
Ooh,
Listen,
snaps!
Grant,
All right.
Grant, here's my issue. Okay,
AB is trash. What are we
Arthur
talking about?
Bryant's. Listen, Grant.
I would have flipped this table, Grant. Like, I can't believe you just said that.
How many years have I been coming to Kansas
He
City
probably
now?
goes to that bougie,
When did
like, Jack Stack and orders $12 baked beans.
So
like,
I've
get
been
outta
coming to
here.
Kansas City. I've been coming to Kansas
I'm not
City for
here
like
for that.
17 years now, right? Mm-hmm. And it took at least 12
18.
before somebody took me to Arthur Bryant's. Y'all taking me all these different barbecue places.
Well,
down
Dave
there.
and Sue are bougie. They like to go to Jack Stack.
And then we went to, but I even went, but like also went to
Q39.
places like what's the
BB's was
what's
another
the
one.
How Can I Help You place?
Oh, Gates.
Gates. Also,
Yeah.
went to, I mean that's
May I
that's kind
help
of
you?
low
That's what they yell
end
at you when you
place.
come
But
in.
like, then one day we go to the two of us go to Arthur Bryant's, and I'm like, what? Why has nobody been taking me here?
Yep.
And she's like, yeah, this is like the original. Yeah, clearly, this is the best.
Yeah, thank you.
It's the best.
Listen, I mean, we can have different opinions. You're still my cornhole partner for this weekend, so I will put it aside. But I'm just saying, Arthur Bryant's is the best.
You know,
whatever
it's like
garbage you're eating
It's like
is
in an
not.
industrial, like, old, like where like there's like junkyards and stuff in the air. It's perfect.
Look at this! I've got fans! That's right, cornhole tournament champion.
Fans until they watch you play.
Hopefully, hey. I haven't been able.
Do I have a partner?
No, nobody's, no.
Henry
Henry says
says
he'll be your
he'll be my
partner.
partner.
I have not been able
Again.
to physically practice. If you guys didn't notice, there's just a Ninja Turtle that just
Come show off your Ninja Turtle
parkoured
sweatshirt.
through here. So there's
Put the hood
Henry. So he needs to get ready for bed here soon. But look, there's Michelangelo has made an appearance. He's been dancing around wanting to be in front of this camera since he walked in here. So
We're not over there dancing around.
you are welcome. Please come on over. Shall we turn the camera that way? For
So
sure.
Airstreamer, thanks again for reminding us about the Hurricane Helene
Yes.
victims. Again, that link is should be below the video if you want to support AmeriCares. We talked about it in the beginning, but a lot of you have joined since then. AmeriCares is an organization that every $20 or every $10 that gets donated to them, they can turn into $200 worth of relief. Their primary goal is to get medicines to people, but medicines and other supplies to people that need them. And the money that you donate here through this live stream, we don't collect it. It goes directly to YouTube, and then YouTube sends it to their to AmeriCares without taking any sort of cut. So it's a direct donation, and you can get your tax receipt and all that through YouTube. A total raise so far,
That's amazing.
$540. Thank you.
Thank
you
you.
so much, everybody. And
That's
also,
incredible. Thank you so much, everyone. Like, that's incredible.
after this live stream, if you haven't watched the latest news roundup that came out just before this live stream, go check that out and talked a little bit more about the Helene. Of course, there's Milton coming now too. But there's a link in that video in the comments and in the description to donate to the Outdoor Hospitality Industry Association's fund.
Yeah.
And what they do is they have a relief fund that goes directly to campgrounds that are affected in these areas. And I got to tell you, as I said earlier on, but for those of you that didn't hear, of course, lots of people have lost their homes, lots of life, all that sort of stuff. Campgrounds can seem low on the list of important things, but these are small businesses, and lots of people lived at these campgrounds too. Campgrounds are a type of housing, both for the owner and the people that travel to them, and some of these places are just gone.
Yeah.
So if you want to consider, especially if you're somebody that camps a lot in these areas, donating to that fund, that's another option for you.
Yeah, and you can find that actually at rvmiles.com. I put an article together that from the episode that lists all of the donation possible places that if you are interested, and it has the foundation on there as well. You can go and check that out because that will directly go to campgrounds that are in need in these areas. So thank you all so much. And if you would like to, I'm not even gonna, you know what? I'm not gonna plug mile marker membership because that's just a weird thing to do after talking about such awful devastation. But we do this every month for mile marker members. So if you don't see us here next month, that's the reason why. But we would really like, instead of telling you to come over and become a mile marker member, we would rather encourage you to please pick a charity or a foundation that is helping victims of these hurricanes right now. And please go and donate if you can, or at least share around articles like what we have at rvmiles.com to just help spread the word, to maybe get in touch with someone that can make a donation that can at this time, because look, there's no shame in that game. We're not all in that place, but there's lots of other things that we can do as well. If financial donations are not feasible, please consider volunteering your time. Of course, there is a desperate need for blood donations, and I believe it's redcrossblood.org if you are able to give. I know that there is a need for that as well. So thank you everyone for joining us. Of course, for many of you, there's, someone just said that there's a category, it's become a Category 5 hurricane now. Milton has. So we are certainly thinking of all of you that may be in the path of that, or have loved ones or friends that are in the path of it as well. But this is always such an honor and a joy for us to be able to spend some time with you live like this. We hope to be able to do more fun things like this in the future. For those of you watching who are on your way to Amana, Iowa for homecoming, we will see you in just a couple of days. And everybody else, we will see you very soon. And I need to put that guy to bed, because that's clearly, there's been some sugar happening over the rig. All right.
Now you see how big the building is.
There it is. Now you see how big the building is. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, friends, for hanging out with us tonight. All right, we'll see you soon. Good night. Bye.